A long time ago, in a land of dinosaurs, there once lived a family of frogs. As the dinosaurs raged through the lands, the family of frogs were content in their life of eating bugs and swimming in their little pond. One morning, their peaceful tranquility was shattered by a group of primitive humans who had arrived in the valley to claim the land as their own. With axes and fire, the humans tore down the trees and uprooted the plants and polluted the waters. The frogs watched in horror as their beloved home was desecrated. They knew it was time to find a new home. Over time, the frogs would journey long and far to find a new home, and over time they would settle. But the peace wouldn't last forever, as their home would eventually be razed once more by humans. As humans advanced and their demand for land increased, their new home was soon destroyed as well. This cycle of displacement and rebuilding would persist for generations, driven by the ever-expanding needs of a growing human population. Many generations passed, and soon the family of frogs had become a resilient lineage, adept at navigating the cycles of displacement and renewal. But one frog was not content. He hated that generation after generation of frogs were forced to live this nomadic lifestyle. How could they keep their family safe and happy if they couldn't even find a home to call their own? And so it would be that the frog known as Mitch set off on an adventure to change their fate. Mitch's travels led him to a metropolis unlike any he had ever imagined. The city was a marvel of technological wonders with superpowered individuals patrolling the streets and the sleek metal vehicles speeding through the concrete jungle like cheetahs. Mitch was so captivated by the city's brilliance that he absent-mindedly crossed the street without checking his surroundings. Just as a speeding vehicle was about to hit him, a giant gorilla clad in armor leaped into the path, halting the car with sheer strength. "Are you okay, little one?" asked the gorilla. Mitch nodded, and the gorilla gently extended paw and lifted Mitch closer to his face. "What is a frog like you doing all the way out here in the city?" asked the gorilla. Mitch introduced himself and explained his mission: to find a safe, sustainable habitat for his frog family, one that would be secure from the threats that had plagued them in the past. The gorilla listened intently, his eyes lighting up with interest. "Creating a safe habitat is certainly a noble goal," the gorilla said thoughtfully. "With the right technology, we can create your sanctuary and ensure it remains protected. My name is Winton, and I would be more than happy to help you in your quest." Winton and Mitch traveled to the gorilla's laboratory, and they quickly set to work. Mitch marveled at the innovations Winton introduced. Winton was creating an artificial terraformer, capable of creating an artificial island. To prevent unwanted intruders, he also went to work on automated defenses and protective barriers. It took many weeks, but eventually, they had finally finished the habitat project. Mitch and Winton gathered the family of frogs, loaded all their equipment on the boat, and set sail far away to the middle of the ocean. Winton activated the terraformer, threw it out onto the water, and right before their very eyes, an entire island started to form. Mitch and his family of frogs were overjoyed. Finally, they had a place they could call home. After the island was formed, everyone set up the barriers and defenses, and they all celebrated and swam the newly formed ponds. Winton turned to Mitch and began to speak. "My dear friend, now that our work is done, I assume you want to stay here with your family? I must go back to my home, but I will miss you dearly. If you are willing, I would like to spend a little more time with you and show you all the wonders my home has to offer." Mitch happily agreed, and the two friends sailed back to the metropolis. They decided to celebrate Mitch's extended stay by attending a concert that was happening nearby. On the way to the concert, their happy mood was interrupted by an ominous event. The sky over the city darkened, and the ground trembled as a colossal yellow dinosaur started rampaging through the city. The beast had emerged from a dimensional rift, its maw glowing with ominous crackling electricity. Winton's face grew serious as he assessed the situation. "We need to stop it before it causes more destruction. I'll handle this." Winton beat his chest and let out a fearsome roar. The gears and systems in his mechanical exosuit could be heard, overclocking and crackling with energy. His already formidable frame seemed to grow even more imposing, as if he were nearly doubling in size. With astonishing agility, he leaped into the air, his powerful legs propelling him high above the ground. Winton, alongside the other heroes of the city, fought valiantly to stop the colossal yellow dinosaur. From a distance, Mitch watched in awe as his best friend battled a beast many times his size and strength. The battle was fierce. The dinosaur roared, unleashing electric blasts from its mouth, sending arcs of lightning through the air. Winton and the heroes deftly dodged and countered, but despite his skill and bravery, the dinosaur's raw power was too overwhelming. In a critical moment, Winton was about to land a decisive blow, but the dinosaur retaliated with a devastating electric surge. Winton was thrown back, his battle suit sparking and malfunctioning. The gorilla's powerful figure crumpled to the ground, his suit now a smoldering wreck. Mitch, filled with despair, rushed to Winton's side. The brave gorilla's breathing was labored, and he looked at Mitch with a mixture of pain and sorrow. "Please, protect our home," Winston rasped, his voice weak but resolute. "Use this. It's a chemical cocktail that I use to enhance my powers. I don't know if it'll work, but please, for me, please protect this place." With the last bit of his strength, Winton takes out a vial of green liquid and gives it to Mitch. With Winton's final words echoing in his mind, Mitch made a vow to honor his fallen ally. He drinks the vial of green liquid and writhes in pain as he feels his very genetic makeup change and warp. Within moments, Mitch grew almost as big as the giant yellow dinosaur. Electricity crackled through his veins, and as he let out a giant ribbit, lightning exploded from the skies. The thundering entrance caught the yellow dinosaur's attention as he turned to greet his new foe. Mitch and the dinosaur locked gazes and charged at one another. The titanic clash was as fierce as it was destructive. The sky became a patchwork of dark clouds and lightning. The dinosaur gathered energy deep within its throat and let loose a blast of energy from its mouth, searing the air towards its adversary. Mitch, the giant frog, summoned multiple bolts of lightning, arcing down from the heavens and striking the dinosaur from above. The two titans endured blast after blast as they exchanged blows. In a final, desperate move, both titans gathered all their remaining strength. The dinosaur unleashed a final energy blast, and Mitch croaked with such intensity that he summoned the biggest bolt of lightning he could conjure. When the dust settled, both creatures fell to the ground. The city was saved, but at a great cost of many lives and many homes. Mitch lay as he felt the energy drain from his very being. As his eyelids became heavy and the world around him began to darken, he could feel himself shrinking. Maybe the chemical cocktail was wearing off, but something was strange. He didn't feel like he was returning to his old self. Something within him had changed. Soon, he faded quickly into unconsciousness. Mitch awoke, and he found himself in a hospital bed, surrounded by medical equipment. Disoriented, he tried to move, feeling an unfamiliar weight and flexibility in his limbs. He looked down at his hands and gasped. They were no longer the webbed green appendages he had known. Instead, he saw human hands, pale and slender. Mitch reached up to touch his face, feeling the smooth skin and the absence of a once prominent, bulging eyes and wide mouth. As a result of the green liquid he had drank, it seems his genetic makeup had changed permanently. After a few days of recovery and adjustment to his new form, Mitch was discharged from the hospital. They provided him with some clothes, and he set out to find the remains of Winton's laboratory. It was completely wrecked, an unfortunate casualty of the battle with the golden dinosaur of destruction. He saw a nearby computer, the keyboard still intact. He remembered the soft clicking and clacking of keyboard noises as he fell asleep on his best friend's shoulder. He decided to take it as a memento, a reminder of their shared time together and the sacrifices that had been made. With the keyboard under his arm, Mitch decided to head back to his family and leave the bustling city life. It was time to go home, back to the land of green. Only this time, Mitch would return as a human.